Lok Sabha TDP MP Galla Jayadev మాట్లాడుతున్నారు లైవ్ లో చూద్దాం.
To expect them to suddenly decide to honor their promises and to deliver on our rights. The 29 items contained in the AP Reorganization Act, as well as the assurances given by then Prime Minister Sri Manmohan Singh. Most importantly, granting AP special category status with all the benefits of other special category status states. Mr. Prime Minister, in case you have forgotten, let me remind you once again that in Guntur, Nellore, and in front of Lord Balaji in Tirupati, you promised to build us a capital bigger and better than Delhi. You promised that if NDA comes to power, you will give Andhra Pradesh a special category status, not for 5 years, but for 10 years. Sir, I gave a complete account of what is pending to Andhra Pradesh against our rights as given to us by the AP Reorganization Act and the assurances given by then Prime Minister during my 1-hour speech opening the no confidence motion during the last monsoon session. Mr. Prime Minister, not only have you betrayed the people of AP, but you didn't bother to respond to a single question that I posed during the no confidence motion. Instead, despite assurances you gave us to calm us down during your speech, you chose to stick to your pre-written text, completely ignoring Andhra Pradesh once again. Mr. Prime Minister, I can imagine you thinking that your stakes in AP is hardly measurable in Andhra Pradesh. Also, you may be thinking that 25 MPs from AP are hardly just about 5% of the Lok Sabha. But you have underestimated Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu. He has seen many leaders and governments come and go during his 40-year political career. He has been a key player in many of the national formations, including the National Front, the United Front 1 and 2, the NDA 1, until recently was part of the NDA 2. You have underestimated his credibility across the political spectrum and the ripples that it would create across the country among the entire opposition. You underestimated the power of Indian democracy. You didn't realize that even a state with just 5% of the population and just 5% of the Lok Sabha seats can catalyze a national response to your autocratic ways. The fight for AP's rights has grown into a fight to save democracy. As a united opposition, we have been able to expose how this Modi Shah regime is making a new India, as mentioned by the President in his address, a new India indeed, but a new India in your own image, an autocratic, divisive, invasive, suppressive, coercive, vindictive, Machiavellian, fascist regime. Sir, there are claims and counterclaims between the government of AP, the government of India, the BJP and the TDP. So to clear the air, I demand that the government of India should immediately release a white paper on what it has done with regard to implementation of AP Reorganization Act and assurances given by then Prime Minister Sri Manmohan Singh ji in the Rajya Sabha. Sir, there have been dharnas, rasta rokos, chakka jams, rallies and many more by farmers in Delhi, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh and many other states for the last 4 years. The Modi Shah regime did not care. The BJP bit the dust in every by-election and also the recently concluded state elections. Now, instead of waiving off their loans, the government in the budget announced that it would give 17 rupees a day. Sir, how does 6,000 rupees a year help a farmer who is in a debt trap? It's only a band-aid for a farmer who is on life support, sir. Will it help even one farmer who is in debt trap and contemplating suicide, sir? Sir, furthermore, they have given 4 lakh crore write-offs for economic offenders and fugitives, but could not show the same large heart to give 1 lakh crore to bring farmers out of farmers' distress. This clearly shows towards whom this regime is tilting. Sir, our CM, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu, has doubled farmers' income in Andhra Pradesh in the last 4 years. The agriculture growth rate is 11%, sir, against a national average of just 2%. If one looks at the pace of present agricultural growth in the country, which is around 2%, and if you add inflation to that, it will take nearly half a century, sir, not by 2022, to double the farmers' income in India. One of the key aspects which helps in doubling the farmer's income is the recommendation of Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, which says that the farmer should be given A2 component, which is paid out costs such as seed, fertilizer, manure, machine labor, interest on working capital, rent paid for land, plus FL component, which is the family labor, and also the C2 component, which includes the imputed rental value of owned land and interest on capital. But, sir, this government has given just A2 and FL. If you give the C2 component, the farmer will get an MSP as high as 95% more than the present MSP, thereby doubling their income, sir. But instead of giving farmers the C2 component, which will make them sustainable, you have given them just 6,000 rupees a year or 17 rupees a day, which is absolutely meaningless for a farmer who's contemplating suicide, sir. Sir, the PM boasted that he would create 2 crore jobs or 10 crore jobs in 5 years. 2 crore jobs a year or 10 crore jobs in 5 years. We are now in the 5th year, sir. Leave alone creating 10 crore jobs in 5 years, crores of people have lost their jobs and livelihoods due to demonetization and faulty implementation of GST. There are as many as 5 lakh government jobs lying vacant in various departments of the Government of India. Sir, the NSSO's latest job survey, released a few days ago, has compared unemployment figures for 17-18 with its past surveys since 72-73, sir. The report indicates that the country's unemployment rate stood at a 40-year high of 6.1%. Now the Niti Aayog is trying hard to push this report under the carpet because of the upcoming elections and to cover up the failure of the Modi-Shah regime. Sir, I would need a lot more time than what you will allow for me to go deep into the subject of misusing and the weakening of democratic institutions that India has painstakingly built over decades. Many members have already talked about how institutions like the Parliament, the Supreme Court, the Election Commission, the RBI, CVC, Office of the Governor, CBI and ED, to name a few, are being weakened or are being used as weapons to attack opponents, not to mention the attacks and control of the media by this Modi-Shah regime. I will refrain from being repetitive here since so many people have. Sir, I would like to speak about cultural nationalism, which is a very important topic today in India. The Modi-Shah regime is openly embarking on a path of cultural nationalism and wishes to define a single national identity and culture for India. They are trying to give a very narrow definition of what it means to be an Indian. Sir, India is not just a country. India is not even just a subcontinent, but India is a civilization that is more than 5,000 years old. In order to understand how our civilization evolved, we have to go back even further. We need to start with a little geological history, sir, in order to understand where we came from, how we interacted and mingled with others who showed up, and how we evolved. Being Indian didn't start in 1947, sir, but evolved over more than 5,000 years, not by making everybody the same, but by celebrating our differences and living in harmony, at least most of the time, sir. During the continental drift, the Indian subcontinent separated from Africa, sir, drifted across the Indian Ocean and came crashing into Asia, forming the mighty Himalayas, the Hindu Kush, and surrounding mountain ranges. These mountain ranges acted as a barrier for entry for millions of years. As people learned to cross these barriers, migration into India began, and India became the first melting pot in the world. Sir, there are only 3 pure races in this world, sir. The Negroid, which are the people of Africa and Aboriginals in other parts of the world. The Caucasoid, who are people mostly of from Europe. And the Mongoloid, who are from the Far East and the Oriental areas of the world, sir. Sir, Indians are not a pure race, sir, but a mix of 2 in some regions and 3 in other regions. If you mix all the colors of the rainbow, what do you get, sir? You get brown, and that is what we are, a mixed race of brown people, sir. Sir, throughout the ages, large groups of people have come to India, but no group has ever left India en masse. I have never heard of the term Indian refugee, sir. People have never had to flee India due to religious persecution in the history of our civilization, sir. They stayed and they continued to mingle and continued to integrate. Hinduism existed even before the concept of religion existed, sir, with roots tracing back to prehistoric times over 5,000 years ago. It is a fusion or synthesis of various Indian cultures and traditions. The Hindu synthesis started to develop into a formal religion between 500 BC and 300 BC, after the Vedic period, during which time Buddhism and Jainism were also founded. Judaism first came to India around 500 BC, sir. Christianity came